guys? This is Courtney Camaro. I'm outside of Muhammad Ali's real original home. We're in Chicago, and I wanted to shout out Al's Botanics and Herbs. Man, when I tell you, I am one of those people that has insomnia. I can't sleep. I can't focus on some days because I'm so sleep deprived, and this has helped. This is one of the mixtures he has that helps with sleep.
What's going on? What's going on? Another day, another dollar. I decided to go live again because why not? You know, why not? Why not? Um, so another day of a down market. The Nasdaq, the Dow, the S&P 500, all were down today. So if you got a 401k. It's probably a good chance your 401k took a hit today. I had what is it? Oh, how much did I lose? $9 loss today. Lost $9 today on the stock market. And it's usual. Like it's to the point where a lot of times when I'm having a losing day, I check the indexes, and the indexes are usually down. Like as far as like if I have a losing day, most of the times the indexes were down. And I know, okay, this is why this is happening. My program, I mean, like I don't know how effective my system is compared to other systems. Of course, I mean, you quantitative systems, it's like you got $1 billion systems, you got multi-million-dollar systems, like the Citadel Group, all of the investment houses, they use quantitative systems that are heavily coded. They're worth they're worth millions and millions of dollars. Because see, here's the thing, right? People always talk about trucking. Trucking is probably one of those things that it's not easy to get in, but it's not hard as learning how to code and becoming basically becoming a software developer. Like most people are not going to, like, I think probably for every for every one software developer, there's 1,000 truckers. For every one software, for every brave soul that tries to be a software developer, there's 1,000 truckers that just is rather do truck driving. And here's the thing, right? Here's the funny thing, right? And this goes for myself as well. I went to college for programming. I mean, back when I was in college, it was called programming. It wasn't even called software development. Here's the thing, right? For like people that live like remote places, I know people live like some remote places like Dumblefuck, Arkansas, Dumblefuck, Utah, Bumblefuck, Missouri, and they drive trucks and that's how they survive. But here's the thing, right? This is the thing. Even myself, right? I mean, I work remote for the most part. Like I work remote. I don't make as much as a software developer. I probably make about amount of money as an entry level truck driver. But I don't have to get on no fucking road. I don't have to get on no dangerous ass road with a 10-ton or whatever truck big rig and trailers and all of that. Like I don't have to do all of that. No, I stay home, I make my bread, do what I gotta do, and then I get off work, you know. But see, here's the thing, right? If you were brave enough and patient enough to get into software development, it could literally you could be wherever you are, right? Because remote job. I mean, software development. I'll even say this, right? Even before COVID, even before the coronavirus, software developers always was working remote. I mean, because they just need the code. They don't you can be anywhere and you could as long as you could formulate the code, that was all that mattered. And it's the same thing now. It's even better. You can if you learn how to code, you pick a language. Like, I'll tell you, the most popular language is JavaScript. JavaScript is like the one of the most popular languages to land a job. It's not the only, but it's the most popular. JavaScript. If you can learn how to basically be a full stack developer, right? Front end, back end developer, you can work remote and you could be anywhere and you could work remote. Anywhere in the country, you could work remote. And you could basically you'll make at least 3 times, not to start, but eventually, let's just say after a couple years, you'll make 3 times what a truck driver would make. What even I make. Okay, you could make about $150,000 being a software developer, an experienced software developer, and you can work remote anywhere in the country. And that's how you can be. You can literally be a king in a small town, like in a small town, like I say, Dumblefuck, Missouri, or Bumblefuck, Arkansas, what somewhere, Bumblefuck, Wisconsin. You can be out in the remote woods in your nice house, making 150, $170,000 a year or even more, while everybody else, they just went right away to just be a trucker. You took your time, you took about a year or two, and you learn how to code. It's easier now because of AI, and you actually sat down and you did what it was required to basically be a developer. You'll make 3 times what a trucker makes. 3 times. And it's not easy. It takes time, and it takes a long time to get a job. Entry level jobs are easier to get, and it doesn't take that long to get. Advanced jobs like database, networking, cybersecurity, software development, it takes a longer time to get a job. Those types of jobs, you might be out 1 to 2 years looking for work, because it's just those are the high value man jobs. Those high value man jobs that pay $100,000+ a year. Those the see, and this is why people don't tell you this, but I'm telling you this. Those jobs, depending on what it is, it might take you a while to get another job. Now, software development should not take you, once you become experienced, it won't take you that long to get another job. It's going to take you a long time to get your first job. But once you get some experience under your belt, you'll be able to get another job relatively easy. But other advanced IT jobs, IT roles do take a longer time than entry level roles, because they're paying you a lot, and they're not going to rush the hiring process. They're going to take their time to find the right person. They're going to test you, your knowledge. They're going to probably have you do multiple interviews, and all of that. Like me right now, what I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna try to pivot into government and gov tech. To basically, I'm gonna try to get a government IT job. I'm gonna use my VA, my veteran experience, because I get at least 5 points by being a veteran. So I'm gonna try to pivot into the public sphere because I think I might be able to get in on the public side. So I'm gonna try that in probably the next um you know I'm gonna try that as soon as possible, basically, because um yeah, I mean it's you gotta either make more money or you gotta find a way to make more money. It just ain't nobody gonna give you anything out here. You gotta find a way yourself. And you know um making money and getting rich, getting becoming a millionaire, it's an action. So you whatever you're doing is going to require action in order to achieve those goals. You got to go. That's why I went back to doing DoorDash. No, I'm not going to become a millionaire doing DoorDash, but I can take the money from DoorDash and I can put it into something else and make some money with it. I can use that money to invest. That's just more money to invest in. The little crumbs that I get from DoorDash, I can use that to do couple other things. One, I get some cushion so I can invest more money, pay my bills, and then just some crumbs that I can put somewhere to invest in to make some more money. That's the whole deal with that. And it's easier for me doing DoorDash now because um the thing is, like, I've done DoorDash, or I've been a DoorDash driver when I was broke as fuck. Like I was like check to check, no savings, no money. Like I mean, I'm surviving off whatever I can get, for doing DoorDash that day. And it's like basically um this is not the case now. I got more coins, than I had before, back when I was living in a hotel, when I was fixing before my house was like habitable. I was living in a hotel and I was doing DoorDash and I was working. And I mean, I was like, it was a struggle, especially when I had lost my job and I was just doing DoorDash 100%. Yeah, I mean, that was a rough time, but this ain't that time. I'm just doing this. It's like I'm just really just kind of like, it's not like I'm volunteering, but I'm just kind of enjoying myself, and I'm enjoying my car, and you know doing deliveries, making me some money. And I don't knowing in the back of my mind, whatever I make from DoorDash, so be it. I'm not surviving off this shit. Fortunately for me, I ain't surviving off it. I got money, you know, I got 4 accounts, got money in all of them, got credit cards, I got savings accounts. I'm not doing DoorDash for survival. Thank God. It's not that type of situation. So DoorDash can go fuck themselves when they try to give me them little bullshit orders that don't make any money. I don't, my acceptance rate can go to hell and back as far as I'm concerned. So I'm just not gonna take I'm not taking anything less than $5, and I'm at least getting dollar 25 a mile. If it's not dollar 25 a mile, they can deliver the shit themselves, as far as I'm concerned. So I'm here in I'm hearing YouTube. I got some mail from YouTube. They change views or something, how public views are counted or something. I don't know what this is about, but I've been seeing other people talking about it, that YouTube is changing their views or how they calculate their views or something like that. And I don't know. I mean, they trying to tighten up, obviously. They try and make it more competitive, I guess. I don't know, man. With YouTube, I had monetization for like a month, and I mean, I made like $200, okay, and then it's like, okay, that it is what it is. I before that, I think I lost my monetization back in what, 2018. I had it briefly and then lost it. Really, when I was getting when I had monetization back then, I wasn't making hardly anything though. But yeah, with this one, it's like, yeah, I did all right the first month and then I lost it. But I ain't worried about no YouTube monetization, man. To be honest, I do this shit just for the love of the game, and for the people, man, in the struggle. I mean, like that's what I do YouTube for, man. I'm not trying, if I can get my monetization back, cool. If I can't, okay, oh well. You know what I'm saying? I could be a millionaire tomorrow, and and obviously still wouldn't care. I'll still come on YouTube, and all of that, and probably, really put some effort into it or whatever, or whatever. I mean, but I'm not worried about this shit, man. I'm gonna make it one way or the other, you know. I saw a video of a creator that in the finance space that, basically I share his content before. I think it's called Financing with Nick, or Financing with Nick, I believe. And he did a video talking about how most people quit whatever people work on, people goals, dreams, aspirations. A lot of people just quit. They just give up on them. And when he started the video, he said, I think Calvin Coolidge said that if you are persistent, you'll eventually you know accomplish whatever you're trying to accomplish, because it's like it's just persistence is basically important. I did a video a long time ago, back in, like, I want to say 2020, back when I was working at Diageo, and I did a video on because I observed why I was like kind of the things that I was messing up on. And I did a video where I was talking about two things that I noticed that is one of the reasons why I have had issues with financial success. And one of those things was stick to itiveness. It's like just basically sticking to one thing, or sticking to one goal, and just and the other thing was patience. Stick to itiveness and patience was one of the biggest things that I had a problem with. you know um you can see the issues that you probably can comment. You probably think that I'll be upset with you, but I'm not upset at critique. I'm not one of those creators that, or YouTubers that, I'm a comment mafia. If you comment something, I'm just gonna, like, just abuse you in the comment section for actually commenting your opinion. You know what I'm saying? As long as you just not you know shooting the dozens with me or whatever in my comment section, or outright disrespectful, I mean, I'll pretty much let it hold up, you know. I mean, even some people, you know, they don't like some of the racial stuff that I post and they'll comment. I won't delete their comment. You know, if they got something, you know, white person got something to say, you know, I mean, I'm not gonna delete their comment. I'll let it ride. But you know, the thing is like one of the things that I have a problem with is patience and also stick to itness. Like you saw that. I'll tell you exactly where you could point out. I could point out to you where those two things backfired in my success or whatever. Like when I was doing a Robin Hood challenge, all I had to do was stick with Dogecoin. I literally had a shit ton of Dogecoin. And this was back when I was living with my sister. This was like 2018, I think. I remember I was talking about I was in Dodge or crypto hell. And the whole time I actually wasn't in crypto purgatory or crypto hell. I had a shit ton of Dogecoin. I had like I think I have to look at my videos, but I had a whole bunch of Dogecoin. And all I had to do was just hold the shit and just stay in crypto hell for whatever. And literally what it took like 2 years. 2 years, Dogecoin shot up to like it went as high as I think like 70 cents. And it was like when I had it, when I was talking about I was in crypto hell, Dogecoin wasn't even a penny. It was like a tenth of a penny or a hundredth of a penny or a thousandth of a penny or something like that. I mean, it was crazy. If you just had $1,000 worth of Dogecoin, you'd be a multimillionaire. You bought it in 2018. You probably have like it probably be worth like $1 million or $2 million or something like that, or I don't know. But I just remember that was one of them things where I mean, obviously I didn't know. I mean, I you know gotta get I didn't know Dogecoin was gonna blow up like that. I think it was gonna go up, but ain't nobody know Shiba knew was gonna go up. Ain't nobody know fucking Dogecoin was gonna go up. No, it was people that was talking about it, but they didn't know that shit was gonna go up, nor did they knew Bitcoin was gonna go up. You know, like people just very few people know what's gonna actually happen. Now, it was some people. It is always gonna be people talking about something is gonna happen. I'm one of the few people that predicted that GameStop and AMC was gonna blow up because literally, I mean, it was just common sense to me. Like people ain't gonna stop playing video games just because it's a worldwide pandemic, and people ain't gonna stop going to the movie theaters. This common sense. You know how I pointed that out? Because I seen the same shit happen in 2008. 2008, basically, people's ideology back then was the sky was falling. The world was gonna, end. And the world wasn't ending. It was just, a financial collapse, and things normalized. And then what happened? The stocks went up. I mean, the government bailed out a few companies, stabilized the stock market, which they still do to this day, and they were doing back then. And basically the stock market went up. A lot of those stocks that was down went back up. And I was just like, it's just pretty much gonna happen. It's the same MO. That was when I started to, really try to take a deep dive on everything financially related back in 2008. And I immediately knew I made a call that GameStop and AMC was gonna go back up. And the rest is history. I mean, like, I didn't necessarily get in on it because at that time I didn't really have that much money to get in on it, to be honest. I think I even said that back then. I think when I did the video, the funny thing is when I did the video, I was in a beat up 1994 Dodge Ram pickup truck that was rusted out. And it had like a bad like gear in the transmission. um I my other car had like my Benz, it like crapped out on me, and that was the only vehicle I had left. And yeah, I was struggling paying paying for a house, paying for a hotel. No, I was living with my grandparents at that time. Then I was paying for my house. I mean, all my other bills and everything. But I mean, the whole thing is that yeah, I'm able to predict some things. I think everybody has some type of what do they call it? Prophetic abilities. You know what I'm saying? Or yeah, prophetic abilities, like be able to predict something. I think most people have that ability. I think if you can harness it and kind of like improve it, I think you can. It's something that you can improve. I think that's something also that people can actually improve on. um People that are good at doing that are probably really good at betting sports and maybe even betting in general, and investing on things because they can see kind of like trends and things of that nature, and then trade those trends, trade the basically trade the future, predict the future in a sense. In my case now, I don't do much trading on my own. My system does all of the trading. I don't hardly trade at all. I have other accounts, but I just have those accounts to like trade long-term stocks that I hold. And it's some stocks that like they just green every day. And here's the thing, right? This I don't know if I'm creating this word, but as far as not so much, this word is already been used. I mean, it's an old word, but like there's some stocks, some companies that I'll call them evergreen stocks. Evergreen stocks. There are some companies that are evergreen stocks. Broke genius? What do you mean by evergreen stocks? Literally, like what I'm just saying. There's stocks that are green every day. They're in a positive damn near every single day. Every single day, they're basically plus money as far as they're making money every single day. Um, I'm gonna tell you one company that is like that now. It's called Smart. I think the ticker is SMRT. That that company, I bought it. Um, I think it was like one of those companies that I was trade like I have on my watch list or something. And I traded it, and it went up, and then it just been green every day. It's another company. I'd have to look at my phone. Let me look at my phone. It's certain companies. They're just I would say they're evergreen stocks. They're just green every day, damn near. Even if the market's down, they're still green. Okay, let me look at, I gotta log in on my Webull account. Yeah, it's this one pharmaceutical company. It's like green every day, every fucking day. I swear. I mean, on my mama, like literally every day. It's called AT. The ticker symbol is ATAI. ATAI. I mean, it's damn near green every fucking day. I mean, like, I don't know, maybe some billionaire hedge fund people watch my channel and they're gonna short it tomorrow, like they did. I did a lot. I really don't like posting stocks because last time I posted some stocks, right? I swear to God, I kid you not. Like, I got rich people that follow me. I know I do. I can feel it in my soul. in my bones that I know I have wealthy people following me. Like shit, my ex-girlfriend, she listens to me. I know for sure my ex-girlfriend probably sitting on at least either a half a mil. Shit, her retirement account has to be either half a million or a million. And then I'm sure she's sitting on probably like a couple 100,000 herself. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's in finance. So I mean, she's like a manager or she's like a director or some shit like that. So she makes probably like 200,000 or something. Um, shit, she been had like she had bread when I like back in the 2010s, like you know. But yeah, it's some rich fuckers that follow me, man. You know, it's probably some Wall Street people, couple Wall Street, couple traders, you know, that follow me, other finance bros that listen to my content. Um, even though I'm all over the place, you know, I could start off talking about stocks and end up with, you know, how to make a bitch cream when you have sex with her. I could do a creaming lesson on how to make bitches cream at the end. But no, I mean I'll be all over the place, man. But you know, yeah, you know, this week is very interesting though. You know, that's probably why I went live because um I mean this week is going to be probably the most interesting week of probably my life. And it goes back to this, right? I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm not rich, okay? I'm still trying to come up, you know. Still on the come up, you know, as the title of this video. But I believe children are invaluable, okay? Invaluable. Mean children are more valuable than money, okay? Um and I have children. And I'm gonna tell y'all a secret. I'm gonna tell y'all a secret, okay? Um I'm gonna tell y'all a secret that I've never really I told maybe a couple people um on the various people that I'm really, you know, really in tune with on YouTube or whatever. But I have other children, okay? I have other children. Okay, that's my secret, okay? And I got a son, okay? And he's 3 years old and his mom, you know, she wants me to see him and I you know schedule something for the weekend. So I'm you know I'm like man, you know I'm very like I'm just so thrilled. I'm like I mean it just oh man I mean like you know it just I mean I'm just like man it's like I'm just I'm just so enamored like I'm like man. You know, I mean, money couldn't give me this feeling. You know what I'm saying? Millions of dollars, it wouldn't billions would give me this feeling, man. You know. Um, I know it's a joy to have money, you know, you could buy all of the goods and services you want. You can even buy a bunch of women. Don't get me wrong. Like, yeah, like to be honest, see, this is why a lot of women are so entitled. Okay, because this is still one of the richest countries in the world and a lot of men are competitive obviously and some of those men they have found a way to be competitive and actually make money and they have money already and you know what a lot of them do they give it to women and women get entitled from these men. And I understand it. Like, I mean, you got it. Like, if you got, you know, I'll say every $50,000 that you make, you have a little bit more that you can actually pay for. Okay. You make 100 grand, you make 150 grand, 200, 250 grand, 300 grand, 350 grand. You got money. Technically, if you make like over $300,000, I mean, technically in this, in certain aspects, you're kind of rich because every 3 years you make $1 million. You might get a bonus, who knows, like 50 grand bonus or something like that. You got enough money to order the highest price escort that that money can buy. Not the highest price, but you can literally have, like, if you make 150, 200, $250,000 a year, you can order a high price escort, have as much sex as you want to have. You have enough money to do that. And it's some men, that's what they do. They just use their money to get women, or you know, to bait women. Cause, like, this is the thing. This is what guys do. And I understand the concept. I'm gonna go back to my son, but the whole point is, like, I mean, you literally, guys look at women when they have money like that as like bait. It's all bait. I mean, really, to be honest, if women weren't involved, like, if men didn't live with women, like, I mean, I'm gonna be honest, like, if women would not like, how men live. They really don't like how men live by themselves. We're kind of sloppy, a lot of us, messy, you know, just kind of unkept. The way, like, we're wild. We're wild beasts, a lot of us. And the thing is, like, with women not involved, men really wouldn't give a shit about a lot of things. Men would not care where they live. They won't care. And you starting to see this with men, like young men. I'm starting to see this, with, I've seen this actually my whole life, but I'm starting to see it more, where men just literally are giving up. Because here's the thing, a lot of what men do is to impress women. And that means, like, clothing, like your clothes, even the way you smell, your appearance, your car, your housing, is all to impress women. Everything that you see is all to, like I said, I've said this before. A lot of things, and this goes to a lot of women's head, but it is what it is. Like, a lot of the world revolves around women, literally, you know, and what they have between their legs, to be honest. Like, the world literally revolves around it. If you think I'm bullshitting, just think about it. Like, all of this shit, this, like, it really hit me when I had my last house, and I was trying to fix it up and everything. I'm like, and I know what I'm doing. Like, I'm like, all of this is really to impress women. This is to impress women. Like, this man would live in a fucking shoebox, a giant shoebox, and wouldn't give a shit. It'd be like an AI video where dude just take a shoebox, he put the flooring down, he put he put a he make a fire of a wood stove. I mean, like, I mean, dudes will fucking live anywhere. And the thing is like, the reason why men don't, the reason why men actually go and do anything really is mostly not 100%, but mostly to impress women. And what you starting to see now is I'm starting to notice more and more that men are just they're giving up on impressing women. So they're walking around sloppy. They, appearance is unkept. They're not even trying to get a job because what are you working for? You working to impress women, right? I mean, to be honest, I mean, you think, what do you think money is for? You know, money is for to basically, for the most part, what pay for a place to live, pay for everything. And when a woman is included, you got the woman and you got children that's involved with that. And you got to make sure everything is, tip top because you got to impress your children, you got to impress your wife or your woman. You know, you gotta make sure you uphold a standard. And what you have now is a lot of younger men. I'm noticing younger millennials and Z's. They just giving the fuck up on that idea altogether. Fuck impressing women, fuck a job because the job is basically so I can, do this and do that so I can impress other people. So fuck that. I'm gonna go do DoorDash or do Uber or do whatever I can do to make a living, and I'm gonna just do that. You know, um, live with my parents and collect cans. I don't know, but they're not. There, a lot of them are giving up on just basically trying to compete. Because it's like, and then some of them are like, kind of incels. They don't have anything to compete for. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. It's very, it's as a man, and all men will basically agree to this. It is very uninspiring to not get laid. That is one of the most uninspiring times of your life. Droughts, sexual droughts where you're not getting laid for whatever reason. And it kind of like, after a while kind of fucks with you, kind of fucks with your head. Like, you know, um, it even I would even say it messes with your self-esteem. And I think even that's why some men simp. Some men just default to simping because they so thirsty and so dehydrated from not getting attention from women and getting sexual access from women that they just just literally the first woman that they can get that catches their eye, they're trying to bend over backwards for because it's like it becomes a situation where this woman becomes my precious. And it's like with me, I mean, I've had my share of droughts and everything like that, but I understand. I mean, it's a process. I'm trying to get, a lot of it might be even you know, my own um notion to try to get my life better, to, impress a woman. Like, um might be going through something. I gotta square myself up and then, I can get myself out there. Like, I mean, that's involved too, but the thing is like, it is a thing where I understand like guys, they you know have these long-term droughts and they the first woman they get, they just just engulf themselves into this woman and just give her everything they got because they just not used to women. Like, see, for me, like I'm actually used to women. Like, even if I can go a year, I can go 6 months or whatever longer times of not being with a woman sexually, and I'm not gonna just be to the point where I'm just gonna simp out because I've had women before. I've had like, you know, harems of women that, I was dealing with at one time. I've had a rotation of women. You know, I've had a bunch of women before. Like, I've been with a lot of women. So me going on a drought or going on a hiatus, I mean, it's not like, oh, it's like a dude that had a water treatment facility and he got stuck in the desert for a period of time and he was dehydrated. I mean, of course he wants water again, but he's used to water. He just went to a destination, or it was a period of time where he just didn't have water and he was really, really thirsty. That's what it's like for me. Like, I mean, I've been married. I mean, I've had long-term relationships. I mean, I've lived with other women. I mean, obviously, if I got a son, I mean, I was doing something, you know. Um, but the thing is this, like, I'm not, every guy has his own, life and his own story, and his, the things that he's dealing with life. I mean, some guys that they might have some struggle, more of a struggle when it comes to women. I mean, but the thing is my whole point is that, um, when it comes down to it, like, money is just, it's not as valuable as what people make it out to be. I mean, I know that sounds redundant, this being, somewhat of a financial channel, but the thing is that what are you trying to ultimately make this money for? You trying to get you a woman, if you're a man, and you're gonna have children, and your children are gonna most likely outlive you and the woman that you were trying to get in the first damn place. So that's what all of this is about. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get it twisted. Don't be chasing your tail between your legs. Um, and it's like, the thing is like, a lot of people even struggle and they work and everything like that. And they work to try to, keep a roof over their head for their children and for them and everything. But it's like you forget one main point, and a lot of single women, their children suffer from this. You missing one major point. While you at work, you not around your children. A lot of children, they're like, latchkey kids, and they coming home and their parents are not home. They come home at like 3 o'clock, and then their mom don't come home till like 5 or 6 o'clock. Maybe even sometimes she don't come home till 7 or 8, because something happened or she stayed late or whatever. And you got to understand, you making a sacrifice in one way, more than you think that you are. Because, okay, yes, you're making that sacrifice to try to keep a roof over your head and take care of your responsibilities and your children. Maybe your baby dad or ex-husband is paying, helping you out, or maybe he's not. But you got to understand that the ultimate sacrifice that you're making is, it's you know it's a chance that between that time that your children get home from school, especially your sons, in that process, something may happen, and you're not there. And all it takes is one day for something to actually happen. And it didn't matter how many hours you worked, and you working for the man so you can take care of your family and everything like that. You know, you doing, so-called the right thing, when really you could just get a job that is, basically uh that functions around you being around your children. What I'm saying, like either a remote job or uh, you get maybe a night job. I don't know. Like even being working a night shift is not as bad as working a day shift while your children are at school. And they gotta come home, because technically you still kind of, it's still dangerous, because you basically telling your children, don't leave the house. Technically they're not supposed to leave the house, because you working a night shift, you working, I don't know, from, let's just say, 5 o'clock to 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock in the morning or something. And technically they're not supposed to have any company, and they're not supposed to leave the house. But you know how many children actually, they don't listen to their mom, and then they definitely leave in the house, and especially on the weekend, when basically, everybody's out and there's no school. Like, all it takes is the same scenario. One day, one bad day, and that's it. You know, you're on the camera on the 10 o'clock, 6 o'clock news, crying because your son got killed. You know, and it's like, people don't really think about that. And it really, it's like a void. Like, you did all of that work, all of that labor, made all of that money for your son to get killed in cold blood on the street. And it's like, well, and you doing the best you can. You can't, let's just say you don't even make enough money where you could move, even though, I don't know, me probably could, you could sell some things, you could find a way to move, to a better neighborhood where the chances of that happening, it's probably not gonna happen. You know, you move, to a safer neighborhood, the kids could technically play, and they probably won't get shot. If anything, they might, the worst day, they might get a fight, but they're not gonna get shot, you know. Um, like when I grew up, that was growing up in the suburbs, black middle class, lower middle class suburb, outside of Chicago. I mean, like, we were outside, you know, just like, a lot of teenagers and whatnot. And even out late at night, the worst thing could happen usually was, yeah, you could possibly get shot, but you wasn't gonna get shot. It wasn't, people weren't shooting people like that. Like, they are now in Dalton, but back then, worst day, you just gonna get in a fight. You just gonna get in a fist fight. And that was it. Like, you didn't have to worry about, I'm gonna get shot. That wasn't how we dealt with things back then. Back then, it wasn't really a big proliferation of guns. I mean, people did have guns. I mean, they had their grandpa gun, their grandfather gun, or their father's gun, or something that they had access to, or um, you know, guns were around, but people weren't just shooting people like that. We weren't shooting each other like that. We were just fighting. We weren't shooting. It's like the newer age kids, I think the millennials, the Gen X, the younger Gen X and the millennials, that those are the generations that started the, shoot first. Those are the shoot first generation, you know. And the thing is like, that's a sacrifice, and um I'll say, like, as far as a male parent does a lot better disciplinarian is a better men are better at men are better at being disciplinarians. It's just nature. And you know, nature is nature. Like for me, like my dad, you know, and my dad, you gotta understand, my dad was a foreigner. My dad is from Africa, West Africa. Basically, he's a savage. I mean, I'm just being, I mean, I love my father, but I'm just being honest with you. I mean, like, he probably ate some bush meat. You know, it's a very, I mean, I never asked my father, and unfortunately I can't, but you know, I'm pretty sure he probably had some bush meat. And it's like, you know, the thing is like, you gotta understand when my mom, well, you know, I didn't want to get hit from my mother, but I definitely didn't want to get hit from my father. You know, like I had a fear from my father to the point where I definitely knew he was crazy. Matter of fact, my dad used to tell me he was crazy. Like literally. I mean, so huh, I you know, the the level of fear I've had for my father as far as like not wanting to, you know, go against what he says and you know and do what you know do what I need to you know do and you know kind of do the right thing, right? Like I mean, I didn't want to you know have to deal with that. The consequences of having to deal with my father, you know, going upside my fucking body. You know, like I mean, it just wasn't it wasn't a good experience. You know, to say the least. Like and the thing is like that fear, you know, and everything like that. My mom, I didn't have that. You know, like um especially when I got to be a teenager. And you know, I was like 6 foot in you know, my senior year in high school. You know, I was already 6 foot when I was in high school, my senior year. You know, it was other guys, it was like, you know, on the basketball team, it was like 6'6", six couple one dude was like he was 6'7". He was already he already was recruited and everything, already had a scholarship lined up his junior year. Yeah, it was like, I mean, it was pretty much almost like a grown man. Like people started to treat me like a grown man. Um, and it's like, yeah, man, I ain't want to have to deal with my father, man. What I mean, I pretty much was like, I was a straight shooter, like literally straight lace, straight shooter. Like as far as how I treated people and how I carried myself and the things that I was involved with, because I didn't want to have to deal with my father. Shit, I mean, I still got in trouble, but the trouble that I got from my father, like from getting in trouble, I mean, it was just I definitely was trying not to get in trouble and not trying to, you know, not do what my mother was telling me to do, because then she would report to my father. And it's like the thing is like it's just as far as standards and upholding standards, being a disciplinarian, just men are just are always going to be better at it. It's just it hands down, just it's just a nature thing. Women are more nurturing by default, most women. So that nurturing, it overrides um you know the raw carnal nature of men, you know, just put in a because some of the like some of the most disciplinarian fathers, you ain't know if they was gonna really kill you, to be honest. I mean, like the fear, you gotta understand the fear of a man, you're a little boy or whatever, you know, even preteen, you know, and you like you still going against a man, a man, like a formidable man. I'm not, my dad wasn't no 5'5" Pee Wee Herman looking motherfucker. This motherfucker he was all of about 6 feet himself, and had hands like the fucking like a X-Man. I mean, like Colossal off X-Men. Big ass, big ass Cro-Magnum head. you know, I mean, like strong, dark Africanoid features. You know, I mean, damn near shit. I'm be honest, my dad, man. I ain't gonna fucking lie, man. I know this is fucked up, but my dad damn near he reminded me of a gorilla. Like my dad did kind of look like a gorilla a little bit. I know it's fucked up, but I mean, my dad look kind of look like a gorilla a little bit, but um, I mean, like, yeah, just I mean, I you just didn't you ain't want to go against that, man. I definitely didn't want to go against that. And yeah, some of the like, because it is fathers that do kill their children, um, they kill their spouse and everything. It's like some fathers, the children are so scared of them, they don't know for sure if they dad is gonna kill their ass or not. Literally. Like, I mean, you don't know. Like you especially like some parents, some children, some people I know, like they their parents is like in the underworld. Like I got friends that they dad basically was a dope dealer. Like almost on some like kingpin type shit. Like they father literally was like Prop Joe off the wire. I had a one of my homies in high school. His daddy was like Prop Joe. I swear, my right hand to God. He literally was the head person in the drug operation. He was the kingpin or whatever. And he actually, yeah, he obviously had to kill people. Part of his job is basically killing people is part of that job. If you like anybody that sold drugs, that like literally sold drugs, like ran drugs, I already know they probably had to kill a couple people, if not more. I already know. I already, because it come like that job, you have to defend yourself from other people trying to kill you. So by proxy of that, you have to. It's like kill or be killed. It's like on some spy versus spy type shit. Like it's people gunning at you on a day-to-day basis. And then by proxy of them gunning at you, you have to defend yourself. So you gun back at them, and people die from that. And it's like, yeah, if you survive that, yeah, I already know a dude that talking about he sold drugs. I already know he had to lay dudes out. It comes with it comes with the job. So by proxy of you being a drug dealer, you also a killer. It's like a stripper. A lot of strippers are actually whores. I mean, not all of them, but most of them. They sell pussy. Like literally, the strip club is actually a brothel. It's a modern day brothel. Like literally, no sex in the champagne room. Literally, and it's like the thing is like it's like a stripper is also most likely a whore too. She sell pussy, and also, does the regular lap dances and all of that. But for $150, she'll give you a shot of pussy, of her pussy. And it's like two things that are synonymous from one another, but are different, but they do both things. And it's like, yeah, I mean, drug dealers, yeah, most of them had to kill somebody. And the more they did, the more higher up they go or whatever, the more people they had to kill. It's like, a gangster. Um before black people were known for doing drive-by shootings and all of that type of stuff, and Mac 10s and all of that. uh automatic rifles, Dracos they call them, small compact rifles. um it was white dudes, European dudes, you know in suits with Tommy guns, spraying the block. 1920s, early 1900s, the mafia. Italians, the Jews, the Irish, you know, they would all go against each other. And even the blacks, uh, they will work with the blacks in Chicago, they work with Italians. They were alliance as far as they were in proximity of the Italians, and they did work with the Italians. And the Italians went against the Irish, and the Jews would play both sides. But the thing is that, yeah, that's what happened. you know, they were gangsters. They were shooting each other, and they would try to defend themselves. They would shoot back. So I already know. Any dude talking about he sold drugs, or I already know he had to probably lay some people out. I already know. And the thing is that comes with that life. That comes with that. So, it just, I forgot how I got on the topic of dudes selling drugs and all of that. I forgot I even got there. But I was talking about how a lot of things revolve around um, you know, basically nature. When the world just like animals, they do, what do? They go, they store food, or they hunt, and they pair up, and then they hunt for their family, right? Or their future family, right? Like humans do the same shit. Everything men do is for the purposes of getting a woman, starting a family, and just rinse and repeat, starting the same process over, again, right? And it's like, yeah, that's life, and um, men don't desire that. Like, they not they the desire comes from um trying to have, a nice car, nice clothes, all of that, you know, to impress women. Unless you're gay. I mean, like, it's some men that are gay. Yeah, they go by, whatever they say. Like Luther Vandross, he was singing to a dude. All them love songs was about a dude. It wasn't about no woman. He was gay. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you know, the thing is like, I mean, most dudes do what they do, man, to impress women, man. You know, it drives the fucking economy. It drives the world.
And no diddy. You understand what I'm saying?
Pause.
You know, it just, the thing is like a lot of people forget that shit. I'm probably the only person you probably listen to that really break it down, down to a science, like a basic, just almost, just ghetto basic science. Like literally all of this stuff it revolves around, you know, dudes wanting to impress women, to get women, as many women as they possibly can. And that's that. And the thing is, it's like you gotta understand the concept of a dude giving up on that. He giving up, you know, um, on the idea of impressing women because of maybe look, he ain't getting no women. He don't have, so he not trying to get no job. He's giving up, you know. And it's like, I mean, I don't know, man. It's economic related to that. Economy probably does play a role in that. I don't know to what percentage, but it's playing a role in that. It's making it easier when you're not even getting any calls, you're not getting anything, you just filling out ghost applications, you're not, it's like, well, fuck. I might as well sell drugs or something. I don't know. Like, I mean, it just, if it's to the point where you just, you know, not, you're just chasing your tail trying to get a job, they don't really have the patience like that. They just give up, and it's probably easier when you're not getting anything, as far as anything from women, and you're not hitting on anything with women. It's probably easier to come to that, conclusion, to just kind of give up and, do whatever you can to make money, while living with your parents. Because I think they say like 50% of Gen Z live with their parents, like at least like over 50% live with their parents. So they living with their parents, and they just probably doing some DoorDash full time, and maybe some other stuff. I don't know. Maybe working at Chipotle. I don't know. I mean, not working, just playing video games. Um, and I don't know, doing something to make a living. I don't know, whatever they doing. And just, just living their life, and their parents obviously gonna I mean, as parents is gonna like when you come back to the nest, your parents, is just look at it like, okay, you coming back to the nest and your parents are birds. They gonna be like they gonna be fucking quacking like a motherfucker at your ass because you were supposed to leave. You coming back to the nest, and we gotta, provide food, water, and shelter for you again. They gonna be quacking off. Like, what's wrong with you? Why did what's going on? Why are you not trying to make enough money to move out and get a place, and blah blah blah. And the thing is like it is economic related as well. I mean, you can have $1 million bill like a bill. I'm saying like a hospital bill for $1 million. The hospital will bill you that $1 million bill. That don't mean you're gonna be able to pay it. I mean, you know what I'm
That
saying?
person,
Like, that don't mean.
hey man, look, you had a good guy
Mm-hmm.
and you blew it.
Yep, I sure did.
I mean, like, you, you, just because you got that bill, it doesn't mean they could have a gun in your head. You ain't gonna be able to, you still ain't gonna be able to pay that $1 million bill. I mean, you might, okay, if they give you the opportunity, you're gonna go out and you just gonna go rob a bank or something because they if you don't come up with this money, they gonna kill your ass. So you gonna probably go on a bank robbing spree. And you're gonna try to come up with you're gonna do a pretty good job, the best you can, right? Uh Other than that, like you ain't coming up with no $1 million. And it's like the thing is just like that. Like if you don't if you don't have $2,000 to pay the rent or 1,800 or $1,500, I mean, what you gonna rob someone every day like to pay or every month you gonna just go rob someone to pay rent? Like I mean, like you gotta have the money has to come from somewhere. And that's just rent. You got car payments, and you got car insurance, and utility bills, cell phone bills, and internet. I mean, that's just rent, 1,500. So really, you really gotta pay. You gotta have it make at least pay at least 2,000 to cover the utilities and your bills and your rent. And you know to be able to pay that, financially speaking, um you'd have to make at least $4,000 or $5,000 a month, because the taxes is going to take a good chunk of what. Like if you make 6 grand a month, you probably get like 4,800. You're gonna get like $4,000 back, or net after taxes. So it's like basically, um, working certain places, like working at the gas station, is not gonna give you that ability to make, to be able to pay that reality. You're not gonna be able to afford that reality. You just won't. It's mathematically not possible. It doesn't compute. Because even when you work at the gas station as well, you getting taxed at the gas station. So even if you just say, okay, well, I just need, I make $2,000 working at the gas station. I make like 2,800 a month at the gas station. Well, that's pre-tax. With taxes, you're not, it get that chunk of 2,800 gets, chopped down a little bit, to, you know, 1,800 or 1,900 or something like that. And you just don't cut it. You just not, you're mathematically priced out, you know. And that's just how that works. A lot of people are mathematically priced out of the housing market. And you know, you you can't, I mean, it's not a situation where you tell some young dude, "Oh, you need to go get a job." Like it's not just you need a job. You need a particular job. And it's like when I was coming up, you didn't need a particular job. You just needed a job. In the 90s, 2000s, if you got a job, that job working at Starbucks or um, the gas station, it was enough to afford an apartment. Maybe a studio, a one bedroom max, but it was enough to afford that. You working at the movie theater full time, that just one job was enough to, I mean, you still had to get a link card and you get on welfare and all of that. I mean, but it was enough to be able to pay for rent. I'm talking 1999, talking 2000, 2002, 2005. You working part time, making, let's say $8 to $10 an hour, in 1990, let's just say 1999. Um, you were only gonna, make probably take home about less than $800 every 2 weeks. That was enough to pay for a apartment. And that's just um working at the gas station, only making like $8 an hour or something like that, or working at the grocery store as a cashier. Like that was enough. You could work full time at a grocery store in 1999, 2002, 2004. You could, yeah, that was enough to basically pay for at least a studio apartment or a one bedroom apartment. Not even in a shitty neighborhood, in the suburbs, in the fucking suburbs. Like, so, you know, that was the reality back then. It's not like so when like the Gen Z, they don't just need a job. So their parents just telling them to get a job is not the equivalent. It's mathematically not the equivalent because the minimum wage doesn't cover the cost of living now. It's for housing, for definitely housing. It does not. It doesn't. It's mathematically not possible with the inflation and just basically cost of living now. Just it's mathematically um priced out, like the minimum wage. Like I think the minimum wage is like what, $7 an hour or something like that. It's mathematically priced out of the housing market, unless maybe you live in Mississippi or something like that. Like in the Midwest and the Northeast and most of the country, like the minimum wage doesn't cover. It doesn't mathematically cover the housing costs. And when I was coming up, when I was 19, 20, in my early 20s, right? eh, you just need, all you needed is a job, a regular job working at Taco Bell. You can pay for an apartment, a one bedroom apartment. It was like it was some type of shift or something happened or whatever, where that just no longer was able to be the case. You can't work it. You can't work at Boston Market, and pay rent, like or Walmart or wherever. You can't. That's not enough to pay rent. Like for it just something happened where it was a shift. I mean, obviously, the prices of everything inflated after COVID and everything, and it just it kept going up and up and up, right? Everything is it costs more now. So it just, because of all of this, doesn't matter. It is what it is. The minimum wage mathematically does not cover the housing cost of, most people in America. And it just, like I'm saying, when I was coming up, when I was like in my early 20s, it did. You can just get a fucking job at fucking Taco Bell, and that was enough to pay for an apartment. And it's like these kids, the kid, like people coming up now, like Gen Z, you know, they don't just need, just like, it's not just a job that they need. I mean, if anything, a roommate. And like, you didn't need no fucking roommate when I was coming up. Like, you have an entire apartment to yourself. Like, the only people that had to get roommates, like anything near what I heard of, was like people that lived in California. Because of the housing costs there, it was really expensive. Even years ago. Like, but yeah, in the Midwest, you can get an entire apartment for like $600-700 a month. I mean, like, and minimum wage wasn't even that much back then. But like, that same apartment now is probably double the cost, if not more. 1,400 to like 1,600 to $1,800. I even see apartments like that's in the Chicagoland area for like $2,000 and more. Like, definitely in the north side of Chicago, apartments run like 1,000, 1,500, like 1,500 up to like 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. It depends on, where you at, and, like, you get a penthouse suite and all of that. But like, I mean, just, it can get like like 3, 4 bedrooms, like 4, 5, 6,000 dollars a month. About $5,000 or $6,000 a month, like for a 3 or 4 bedroom or something like that. Like, it's crazy. I mean, like, and there's people paying that. And the thing is, like, I mean, it wasn't like that back then. Like, this is a new phenomenon. Like, this is a new phenomenon that everybody is trying to, you know, keep afloat and survive in. And it's kind of like a thing where it's kind of turning into Hunger Games, where, you have these districts, and I mean, and then, like, you got the masters, and, they got the fucking, they control the food supply. I mean, it's starting to kind of seem tripped out, because it's like, I was thinking to myself the other night. I was like, I mean, who is really in control? Who is kind of in a way, as far as me being more competitive and making money, and everything like that. And I think of certain things as far as, in certain other aspects, but I mean, like, really kind of like who's in the way. And really, to be honest, like, when I really thought about it immediately, it would be kind of like the hiring class. You have like a hiring class of people. Um, Not necessarily a race. I mean, white people do run most of everything in the country. I mean, in the United States, but it's like, more or less, there's like a middle manager class, and those are the people that are, like the hiring managers. those are the people that will hire you and get you fired. Definitely are in the way of you being hired. And it's like those are probably my immediate, like, people that kind of like they can make my life better. They kind of like those are the gatekeepers, you know, and it's like because they're the gatekeepers, and I'm, like for like my job, if I wasn't able to, you know, impress my hiring manager and then ultimately my other manager or whatever in a job interview, I wouldn't have got the damn job. I mean, whatever it pays or whatever, like I wouldn't have been able to get it. Like they were like literally, like when I was thinking about, I'm like, those are literally like, you know, they're, because I could be like, oh man, Jeff Bezos, man. Jeff Bezos got me fucked up. I'm out here bad because of Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg and them and I'm like, really, to be honest, they don't necessarily affect me. I mean, I don't, they're not even really, because they just kind of so far up, they kind of like all the way up there and shit. Like, it's like really, to be honest, like immediately, like my, opposition, if you want to say, would definitely be like middle managers. The fact that I still need to work. I mean, if I was a multimillionaire, I wouldn't, that wouldn't be the case, as far as like, middle managers would be my problem. Maybe something else would be my problem, but not middle managers, because I wouldn't need to work. I wouldn't have to worry about a middle manager. But the thing is that, yeah, I mean, because I'm working, um, yeah, middle managers are definitely probably, if you had to say a op or whatever, a opposition, not in the sense that I'm gonna bang on my opposition or drill on them or nothing like that. No, not like that, but it's like they definitely an opposition to me in the sense of, I do need to them to hire me. If they don't hire me, I won't get the job. That definitely directly affects my life. Um and it's like, yeah, those are the immediate people that, when I if because I was looking at kind of like as far as whose fault is it, like, as far as what is in my way of, millions and billions of dollars, and it's like, I mean, obviously it's a bunch of, it's 8 billion, humans on this earth, right? I mean, it's 300 million plus in America alone, besides, I mean, basically I would say children and, babies, obviously, and women are kind of in a way, like as far as a competition. I mean, definitely they are. I was considered competition, or in kind of in a way, or whatever, in a way possibly, but not necessarily. Like, they kind of like it just there, but it's like, definitely children, and that is not in any form or fashion in a way, or whatever. You know, it's just basically men. I mean, you know, a bunch of men. You know what I'm saying? Like all these fucking men. You know what I'm saying? They in a way like a motherfucker. I mean, they definitely in the way, and definitely competition. You know what I'm saying? And um, the thing is like they ain't necessarily affecting me um on a individual level. It's just, you gotta understand. I mean, it's a lot of it is way you're raised, like if your family, is well to do, then most likely you'll be well to do. If if some family tragedies happen and things didn't, a loss of wealth or whatever, things can go other way. But for the most part, if your family is well to do, most likely you will, be well to do. But the thing is like if your family struggled, then it's a good chance that you'll also struggle, you know. And the thing is like it's like a momentum thing that you can ride a generation. You can ride a generation of momentum. If let's say your family is well to do, you know, um, then ultimately, you'll carry on that, but then, the next generation, you spoil your kids, and then what, they become crackheads, then all of that momentum, it just goes out the window, and it happens, and the thing is like, yeah, you could ride momentum, like your family, a lot of people, they ride their family's momentum, you know, and then some people they they ride that momentum into the ground, I think they said like, most generations of wealth only lasts about two and a half generations or something like that. But that was just the overall wealth of most people in America. In the black community, the wealth, it literally bounces. It goes one generation and then it bounces. They don't even make it to 2.3 in the black community. It's a shorter window. And I don't know why that is. I really don't. I really don't. I'd have to bring fucking uh someone that's like a like a historian and obviously some type of historian that's also an economist that's black. I mean, that can break that down of why why one generation of the black wealth literally it bounces after one generation. Like I just I don't know, like I just all I could say from what I've seen from people that I not necessarily know, but what I've heard of, um because it's black people that has wealth, like it's like in Chicago, like Chicago's like number 4 as far as like black wealth. It's like number 4 on the list. And Chicago has, I think, like 4 to 6 thousand black millionaires in Chicago. Um, so I mean, it is some black people that's wealthy. I just was driving in Hyde Park, and yeah, I saw, I looked over. It was kind of where it was near where Muhammad Ali's house is, in his mansion in Hyde Park. It was like in that area. It's like next to Farrakhan's mansion, and I mean, like it is black people that, man. I don't know who that dude was, but that you know he man, the dude was black, older black dude, probably in his late 60s, or or late early 60s or something like that, or late 50s, sitting in some like car or whatever truck in front of his Hyde Park mansion. I mean, I was like, and I've seen that before. I mean, I mean, Hyde Park is not, it's not new. It's old, black money. It's an old black money town, or enclave, and I'm used to seeing that, but yeah, I mean, it's like seeing it now. It does. It's kind of interesting, But the thing is why does it bounce one generation? I can say that the reason probably why is the next generation, like when the father dies, he leaves his estate to the daughter, or the father, or the son. um they try to do right by the business or whatever, because it's usually a business. That's why they're millionaires or whatever. They try to do right by it, but then they ultimately die, and they don't have their children in the position to take over the business. They just did everything in a business, and they didn't involve their children in the operations of the business. So the children wouldn't even know how to run anything, nor are they capable of running anything. And then they die, and then you know something happened. Like for example, the owner of Harold's Chicken franchise, he died. He left his daughter to run the Harold's Chicken franchise. It's a franchise. And she was running it pretty well. He left it to his daughter, and she was doing what she could with the business. She was actually growing it and maintaining it, and she got married to some dude, and some look like a thug. She got married to this dude, and something happened. I mean, I don't know what happened, like how she got sick or what, but she was like, I think she was like 50 something, 50 something years old. And I mean, she just she had a heart attack or something like that, died. And now, and now she left. Like, she already had kids before she married this dude. So now it's a situation where, and it's usually like this when and that's why I think some women, when they have children, they're not getting back with the children's father. They just decide not to get married or anything, because it you know it's just something that can happen like this, like where, I mean, if you marry a sleaze bag, sleaze bag is gonna be a sleaze bag. It doesn't really matter what you can do. It's just a lot of women fall for sleaze bags for whatever reason. But basically, I mean, long story short, like the dude, she dies. Um, he takes over the business. He gets some. I think he got the lawyer, or he got the former mayor of Chicago, Beetlejuice, to be his attorney, and they protested the will or something like that. Or I don't know, something. Basically, they found a way to X the her children out of the business, out of her assets, and everything, the business, everything. They didn't get this. Her children, her biological children, didn't get anything but memories. They fighting now for the family estate. They got a lawyer, and they're fighting the stepfather. The stepfather left them out of everything. You got to understand, when a woman marries a sleaze bag like that, that is what you're doing. You might as well just take your kids and drop them off at the homeless shelter. Because that's ultimately what you're doing when you marry a fucking sleaze bag that, basically you die. For all I know, he poisoned the bitch. I don't know. I mean, um, she died. The her children don't get nothing. You're not like. See, here's the thing, right? Even in the Quran, like it's a way that you're supposed to divvy up assets after someone passes. It's literally in the Quran, letter for letter. I mean, I don't know what it says in the Bible or anything like that, but in the Quran, I mean, it literally is in the book on how you split up your assets. To you've got a daughter, you got a son, you know. It's like the thing is like you gotta understand a savage sleazeball that literally exits you out your own fucking biological state. Like that's why shit like that. That's why the Europeans was always at war. It be sleaze bags like that, like a dude, like some woman to marry a queen or marry a king, and then he's a fucking sleaze bag, and then he tries to just like take over the kingdom after his wife dies. All of a sudden, being stricken with some shit, and next thing you know, the neighboring kingdoms, or actually the kingdom actually revolts against the king, and then kills his guards, and whoever is rebels against him, and just takes his head, because a sleaze bag, because someone married a sleaze bag, and it's like you gotta understand. I mean, that's one example right there. I mean, usually what it is the family, like the person dies, the the basically the whatever's left, as far as once the family member that made the millions, once he passes, the father, the mom, or whatever, they blow the money. Then the next generation don't have anything. That's what usually happens with black wealth that I notice. Or you know the first, that's usually what happens. They just slowly blow the money away. Um, and they thinking in their head, daddy's business. I ain't like it, and that's not what I'm into, and blah blah blah. And they just let they father just have to sell the business to somebody else and just take the money, and live out his days. And it's like, the thing is that's what usually happens too, because and I've seen that happen a few times. It was like one of the only black grocery stores in Chicago, and the dude, he got old, he didn't want to run it no more. His own children did not want to run that business. He had to sell it to some Arabians, and they still own it to this day. And it's like that's the type of shit that usually happens. And they hoping that they can get some money when he dies, and then they gonna blow that shit. They gonna spend that shit, spend that shit, spend that shit, and they gonna spend that shit, and then it's gonna be gone after a while, and then they gonna have is memories and barbecues about their daddy and his business. I broke that shit down on a fucking basic, like just like firsthand observation level of why, me, like just without putting any stats and any numbers, you know, why black wealth bounces, only takes one generation. It's just out of here. It's like ID 5000, 2 snaps, not even 2 snaps, 1 snap. you know, and it's gone. I just gave it to you, just right there. I already told you. Those two, one of those two scenarios. They sell off the houses, they keep the cars, they, divvy up the bank accounts and all of that. And then they just spend that shit. 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 And then it's gone. And it's gone. It's gone. It's gone. Gone in the wind. Oh man.
You big dummy.
And it's like, yeah, I mean, they weren't taught business and investments. Business and a businessman and an investor understands earned income versus investment income or business income. They understand, like, if you the average person that earns income, that's just a worker, he or she only understands being a worker and being a consumer. It's all they know. The average worker, that's all they know. Just being a worker and being a consumer. I make money, I buy stuff, and I spend and then rinse and repeat. And an investor and a businessman understands what sells, why it sells, how much profit that you can make off each sale. Um, they know where the products are made, what the quality of them are, what they are, you know, certain tangibles on how to, eh, get them at a particular price, or how much you can get, how much what freight would be, and particular details like that. And it's a process of making money every day, and um an investor is investing in usually businesses, companies, usually, and trying to make a profit from those businesses. And both businessman and investor understands the power of using money to make money. Whereas usually the worker and the consumer, making earned income, they don't understand those concepts. They don't it just they're and a lot of people are not. The educational system in America it's derived to teach you just to be a worker and a consumer, so you're easily controlled. And the thing is they don't teach, the average school does not teach business and investment um uh, uh curriculum. They don't teach that. They don't even really teach financial curriculum in general. And the reason being is, that's see, like I've said before many times over, that's how you're controlled. You're controlled financially in this country. That is how you are controlled. You controlled on how much money you have or don't have. Actually, more or less, how much money you don't have. Because the more you don't have, the more you are easily able to be controlled on where you can live, where you can go, what you can buy, you know, how much power and influence you have, so on and so forth. So the thing is that when it comes to why they don't teach, financial um curriculum and investment and business curriculum in schools, most schools, because if you learn that, you don't, the sky is the limit. The limit is the sky. Like, you can learn enough in high school. If you take high school, like if you take business classes in high school, you can learn enough from high school to after you graduate high school, get maybe $10,000 from your mom or dad for graduation, and you know enough from high school to start a business, a retail business, an operation, um, as an 18-year-old. That's enough. It's enough. With the proper curriculum, a person can be taught in high school business, general business 101, 102 type. In after high school, they can go directly into business, or maybe work a couple years and then go into business, because they already understand from high school the basics to just get started. And the same goes for investing. I mean, it you know like you could make enough to where you could easily, I mean, like, I mean, it's like, man, it's just a whole nother world. Like, I mean, it's like, it's almost like sci-fi type, like type, the reality that when I think of, as far as the potential, as far as money to be made in investing. I mean, it starts to get sci-fi, because I'm like, I'm talking flying cars, I mean, I mean, you know, you could buy, all kinds of stuff, because I mean, that's how much money you can make. Like, I mean, people make millions of dollars. Like, some hedge funds, the fund makes billions of dollars every single day. That one fund makes billions of dollars a day. That's a day. Now, I mean, the hedge fund, they get a percentage, they get a cut, from, a percentage of how of the growth of the fund, and their clients invest their money in the fund, and the hedge fund, charges a commission off of how good the fund profits, how much profit the fund makes, so uh I mean, yeah, like that side, that world, like I mean, I mean, it's like you making money out of thin air. I mean, like it just. I mean, like people just don't. I mean, like it's just man, it just starts to get sci-fi when you start to think about the potentialities of monies that could be made investing. It just it's like I mean, it's like it's it's like not even the sky. The sky is not even the limit. It's like it's almost like on some universal type stuff. Like I mean, it's like I mean, like you in outer space and shit. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I mean, you you above the sky. Like I mean, but you know the thing is that you know that's how that is. Like when you know, you have an investment mindset, you know, financial mindset. You know, you have, you know, a country like, you know, Switzerland, um, Zurich, you know. I mean, like, oh man, I mean, and then you got, you know, a sovereign wealth fund of, you know, $2 trillion. You know, and it's like, yeah, I mean, they don't want people, they want people to be, you know, consumer slaves. They don't want them to be sovereign and you know have wealth and you know all of that. Like they don't want that because you're not easily controlled when you are, you know, sovereign, financially sovereign, you know. You're not easily controlled when you have you know, a certain amount of wealth. You're definitely not easily controlled. You know, you're not even part of the system, really, to be honest. Like at a particular time, or let's just say income range, or let's just say wealth range, you're not really technically well, you know, you're not working anymore, so you're not even in the you're unemployed. You're not even in the system at all. You're not filing unemployment. You know what I'm saying? You know they don't. You're not part of the census report on people that are unemployed. You just you know you out of the system. You're not working. You're not unemployed. I mean, you know, you just you know you making money off of your investments. You're living off of your investments. I mean, like they don't want no country of people doing that. Who- who- who's gonna run the factories? Who's going? Who's going to flip the burgers and fries? You know, who's going to take the garbage out? Who's going? You know, work in the plants. You know, the warehouses. You know, I mean, they working on the robots. I mean, it's you know, it's getting there. You know, but they ain't there yet. You know, and you know, these companies they might not be able to afford no robots. I mean, like I don't know. I mean, but the thing is yeah, they don't want a bunch of, you know, Japanese moonlight traders. You know, like look up Japanese legendary day traders. Like some of these dudes, man, they took like, you know, 30,000 yen, which I don't really even know what 30,000 yen is, or 3,000 yen or something like that. And they basically traded it all the way to like over some like a year or two to like over $1 million. And whatever the yen is, like $1 million. Like they became a millionaire, with yen, trading. Like, I mean, you don't want no whole bunch of country of people doing that, man. They don't want that shit. You know, you know what I'm saying? Like you not in the system. Like the more people in the system, the better for the control you. Like if you're not like it's people literally that are not in the system. They like, they just on a certain level, like on a certain financial level, like let's just say, I'll just say, I'll say definitely like 2 million or more. Like you making 2 million or more a year, or definitely even I would even say a million, a million a year, you know, you're not in the system anymore. Even if really, to be honest, if you was probably even making 300 to $500,000 a year, like whatever you're doing, like you know, you'd be, self-employed, but I mean, like you technically will still be in the system, but like self-employed or whatever. But I mean, it's people, they're not in the system. I mean, like, yeah, they file taxes and everything, you know, but they're not they're not a part of the system. They're not working. They're not self-employed. You know, I mean, they have, they probably, meet with certain people. They might talk to certain people, whatever. They might have lunch or whatever, dinner, with very important people or whatever. But I mean, they not like touched, like they're not a part of the system. Like they're not like the regular system of people waking up, going to work, coming home, paying bills, like in the sense of, making sure you pay your mortgage, making sure you pay, like most of their account, like is probably everything is on auto pay, you know, and, may or may not have an accountant, look over there, bank statements, depends on the person. Me, I don't need to do that because I know accounting. I took business in college, accounting, business management, business 101, business 102, economics, macroeconomics, business law, business management. I mean, so, you know, you know, I, you know, I learned a lot about business from my grandfather, to be honest. Like, a lot of the like retail side of things, like I learned a lot of stuff from him. Like, you know, and just, the thing is, when I don't look at money the same. Like, just, I don't look at it the same. Like I don't look at it like, oh, I'm just going, buy some clothes and some shoes and some, I'll get a car. I understand, I'll get at least one car, but I'm not about to get a bunch of clothes and jewelry and
it just, I mean, you got to understand, like, all of that money is investment money. That's how I look at it. Like, it's not money to be spent, it's money to be invested. That I gotta take that money because that's my only amount of money. It's no more money is coming in. That's where a lot of people don't get it. Like that money that you get from your grandfather, passing on, or your dad passing on, and he had a business or whatever, had a firm or something. I mean, you spending it, there's no more coming. It ain't coming. It's no more coming. It's nothing else after this. This this final amount that you spend on, however big it is, it could be $1.5 million. That's it. Ain't no more coming. It ain't. It's not. That's it. After you spend all of that, it's gone. And you ain't your daddy. You're not your grandfather. What, you don't even know what your father does. You don't know how to do it. You're not even qualified to do it, even if you wanted to. And you don't make anywhere near the amount of money that your father did or grandfather or whatever. And that's, the thing is I know that it's a scary feeling, but it's like, the thing is you gotta it's that's a one-time thing. It's not like, oh, I go buy me some clothes and buy me some jewelry, and go have a good time and buy some cars and live it up and spend money and spend that shit. Spend that shit. Now, I mean, like, you spending the boss's money. And that was the final boss. Ain't you're not a boss. After you spend that money, that is gone. you know, it's like the story of Cinderella, like, you know, the chariot turning into a pumpkin or something or whatever. Like, you know, you live in a fantasy. Because you don't, every money you spend, you don't know how to make back. I want you to rewind this and play this back. Every money that you spending, you don't know how to make back. That Bentley you just bought, after you spend your last dollar, you don't know how to make enough money to buy another Bentley. And that's what people don't, people never probably thought about it like that. Like, you you spend it, they don't know any other concepts. Like, they don't know any other way. Like, to me, it's really basic. Like, I mean, I'm not saying just put it in a savings account. Like, I mean, you could either hire someone, a company. Like, I know Edward Jones is, they're pretty known. So, I mean, Edward Jones is one of those companies. And you just basically give them a good portion of whatever. Let's just say you got $1 million from your father, or whatever, dad or mom, whatever. You take the money, give give at least half to, the brokerage company, or basically the investment. It'll be an investment brokerage house, and they're going to trade with your money, and then they're going to make money, make some profits, and then they're going to pay you, quarterly. Um, and they go, eventually grow the money that you have. They, if they're really good, they're going to grow the money. Okay. um and the money's there and it's invested and they're making money off of it. You're getting returns. Is the money is coming in now. You just use that money to make more money. Okay. You got money coming in. Okay. from that money that you gave them, or half of it, or whatever. You put the other half in a high yield savings, and you know, give yourself, like, look at whatever you get from interest every month. Like, you got put. Let's say you put $500,000 in a high yield savings. Uh, you should be able to get. I don't know. I'd say, at least $1,500 a month as far as interest. Maybe more. And then you just basically withdraw $1,500 every month from your savings, and that's like income. So between the income you get from your savings account, from your money, your high yield savings, and from your investments, your brokerage investments, um, you should be able to pay for everything. You should be probably making, anywhere between probably at least 6 or 7 grand a month, off of just those. Because now you just generated income. You gave your money, you put your money to work, and it generated some money for you to live off of. Now, okay, you could probably, if you blow a little bit of that, okay, now you could probably blow. Then see, the consequences is not dire, because okay, you blow this money, you know, you go to fucking the mall, or whatever, and have a really good time one day or whatever, one weekend. Okay, um, all right, you gotta wait till you get paid again or whatever, and or maybe dip into your savings a little bit, or basically, you got the another, you getting some money next month. You know, you getting some more money next month, and it's gonna come every single month. Versus you go take money, and then you go to the mall every day, and then spend that shit, you spend that shit, and you buying cars and all of this stuff, right? And then it's like, it's gone now. You can't now go put any money into a brokerage account, or some investment group or whatever. It's no money to do it now. you know, it's no money to put in the high yield savings. You got like maybe $1,000 left. You know, it's gone now. And the stuff you spend it on, okay, the car, okay, what? Now you got to sell it, because you don't have any more money, so you got to sell the car, and then you ain't gonna get all of the money that you paid for it. And then you take that money, and then you gotta sell your house to get your apartment now, because you can't pay for the mortgage. And it just it, it's just it's like you don't really have anything left at that point. It's and especially if you just blow everything. And it's like basically that happens a lot. That happens a lot. That's people just, they don't understand anything else. A lot of people, they're not taught investments and business, and they just don't know that. And even some people just young and just kind of dumb. Like, how about that? Like, being young and stupid. Like, um I remember being young and stupid, and just being oblivious to the world. Like, um it's like, when you learn what you can teach yourself, and how to be an investor. You can learn how to be an investor. um It's not that difficult. If you want to be an investor, that's all it takes. You just gotta want to be an investor. Um, and just take baby steps, and you'll be that, learn how to read charts and see trends and spot patterns and you know look at balance sheets and company financial balance sheets and stuff like that, and look be able to screen certain you know company stock data. I mean, it's just certain things you pick up. You're gonna learn everything at once. It's gonna take you some years. Well, you could do it. You could teach yourself. And you know, eventually, you can put more money into it and learn. And more you learn, you get better at it and learn how to make some money. And you get good enough. You make enough money that you make at your job, if not more. And then when you're making more than you making at your job and you're doing it consistently, you just, leave your job. You join the rich and unemployed, you know, and you leave the workforce, you know. And I mean I mean, I just I ain't gonna lie. I hope one day that I could join the rich and unemployed. I mean, I swear to God, I just hope one day, man, I could just join the rich and unemployed. I swear for God. Like, I mean, I'm gonna enjoy that unemployment. Oh my God, I'm gonna enjoy that unemployment, boy, man. Oh my God. I mean, you just gotta understand the feeling of not having to worry about getting up to go to work. I mean, you ain't got to worry about that anymore. I mean, you just got to get up to, maybe catch the opening bell. I mean, get some coffee, get you a bagel, some cream cheese or whatever. You know, wait for the opening bell. Opening bell. Okay, this is what's going on. You already got everything formulated. You got things going. I mean, you know, I mean, boy. I mean, I can't. I mean, I'm just like I'm like a dog, like you know, growling at a bone, like trying to lick that bone, trying to get it touched. That. I mean, I'm like, man, I'm just can't I can't wait, boy. Oh boy, man. I mean, like it's a few people, man. I don't know how many people, you know, that has that reality because it doesn't. You don't have to be a millionaire to have that reality. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted. Like you don't need to be a millionaire to have that reality. Like, I mean, even when I just told you what you do if you had $1 million versus spending that shit, spend that shit, spend that shit. Like when I told you, you take half of it and you put it in a brokerage, uh, um, a broker assisted, um, basically a fight, investment company or whatever, brokerage house or whatever. And let them trade for for you, and they're gonna make a profit, and then they're gonna give you basically like a dividend from your account, and those are the profits they made, and that'll come to you I think it's like quarterly or something like that, maybe monthly. I'm not sure, but or you could teach yourself how to trade but it'll take you some years to learn. But the thing is like, okay, that's money coming in every month or every quarter. Okay. And then you got your other half in a savings account, and you give yourself like a monthly payment, like 1,500 to 2,000. Between those two accounts, you should be fine to live off of. You could live off that money. See, so the thing is this, right? Um, you know, that's the whole thing. You gotta you gotta get income from your investments, to live off of. Like that's the whole thing. That's and it doesn't, I mean, whatever you're doing, like, some people, they got a bunch of ATM machines. They got a bunch of vending machines, and they make $10,000 a month from just those. And they just they realize they don't really have to work their job anymore. And then they maybe get a few more ATMs, and then they getting like $15,000 a month. And it's like, you know that doesn't require $1 million to do all of that. Like, it's basically be that's one concept. He took some money and started to sell ATMs, like, I mean, set up ATMs, different businesses that didn't have them or whatever, and charged them, gave them some type of percentage of the withdraw, the withdrawals or whatever fees, ATM fees, and that's what they did. Okay, somebody might have gotten a Bitcoin or whatever. I mean, it doesn't it doesn't require you necessarily be just you. Okay, you just be a millionaire, just get $1 million, boom. No, you can if you could make like whatever you could do to like make 15,000, generate $15,000 a month of monthly income, that should be enough. And that's like what, $200,000 a year. Like, if you could generate like anywhere between, I would say, $5 to $15,000 a month of income, whatever you're doing, like, it could be something that I mean, I don't know, you got an Amazon store or whatever. Like, that's enough to where, I mean, you got to do certain tasks, whatever those are, but you don't have to work nowhere anymore. You don't have to work no job. You don't have to be working anywhere or anything. If you could generate, I mean, you'll still be working technically, but you know, um, after a certain while, I mean, I guess if you want to say, if you wanted to ultimately join the rich and unemployed, if you could make something, if you could basically invest in something that doesn't really require you to actually have to work, you know um and the best things to do, the best one of the it's a few ways you could do that, but it's like there's quite a few ways, but the best way that people do that is trading, like forex, Bitcoin, or crypto, and the stock market. Like, I mean, those are one of the biggest. It's some people a sports bet, but I ain't gonna lie. Like, I mean, I'm still trying to learn, but it's like, man, it's I I haven't had I'm still learning, and I ain't really it's not I'm not as lucky as I thought it would be or I would be or whatever, it's like I mean, I'm still learning, trying to, come up with different things. I got, sports models and all of that stuff, but I mean, I'm still learning that thing. And one of the things that I'm trying to work on is like doing more straights than parlays because the parlays you that's kind of challenging to consistently hit parlays, and it can be done, but like the straights is you can actually kind of like you can really just be sufficient with straights. And that's one of the things that I'm trying to learn and teach myself to just be disciplined enough to just do more straights because parlays are tough to get. It's lucrative. It's the most lucrative. It's the most like, marketing friendly. Um it looks easy like but it's not really easy. It's very much kind of like lottery ticketish, like almost like it's on the level of like, maybe playing a pick three or pick four, you know. I mean, like, and the parlays are it kind of, they kind of like that. And it's not easy to get consistently get winning parlays night after night. Like it's possible. Many people have done it. I mean, even I've probably done it a few times, but it's not easy, getting consistent winning parlays night after night after night. And it's like you can have one ticket and it could have five legs, and you could have all of those four legs win. Then the last leg, the fifth one, person doesn't win or, achieve the stat that you bet on. And then that's all it takes is you lost the parlay just off that one losing leg. But see, with straights, in that scenario, you would have won four out of five of those slips, which you would have basically you would have won four slips out of one. So you'd have made a whole bunch of money. You'd made a sizable amount of money because the four won. So you have four separate tickets of those different combinations you put in that parlay, and you overall you win because you it's not like you didn't pick well. You just trying to get them all right on one actual ticket. It's very difficult, very very hard to do. Um, but it's just something I'm trying to learn, and I'm a eventually kind of figure things out. But um, I mean, yeah, I'm trying to learn, but the thing is that yeah, you gotta you gotta try to figure out something you could do. But I mean, you could try to anything that you could do to get involved with or do to generate income every month. That's enough to replace a job. Just it's all it is. It's not mad. Most people don't work their jobs because they just really in love with their job. Oh, they love their manager and they job is a family. That's not the case. They work there because they need to pay money to pay their rent, pay their mortgage, pay their bills. That's why they work there. It's not magical. So you know, find a way to generate income, you know, to add to that job. After a while, you know, if you could generate more income or find a way to make more or do more or increase output or whatever. And, you know, basically you making 10, 15, 20,000 a month or 30,000 a month or 50,000 a month. And you don't need to work that job anymore. I mean, it out you outweigh, you know, the output of whatever that job was able to do for you. You know, like I mean, okay, it's cool. You just, you know, you work 80 hours a month and you made 6,000, okay, or you know, 4,000 or whatever. Okay. And you know, it paid the bills and you know, paid, you know, for your mortgage and, you know, basic needs and everything. You know, but you make it now you make it, you know, $50,000 a month. I mean, it mathematically your job is it's not profitable. Your job when your job becomes not profitable, that's when you know you're doing the right thing, you know. Um because basically your job would cause you to lose money. You would you would lose 50,000, you probably lose $45,000. You know, I mean not 45,000. You'd lose no, you'd lose about $450,000 from from working your job. The job that only pay that's only paying you $50,000 a year. You would working that job would cause you to lose out on about $500,000 a year. I mean, like, yeah, like it's stuff like that. Like once your job becomes, you know, mathematically, just unformulated, just it just doesn't calculate anymore. The calculations don't make sense. I mean, yeah, like that's a good thing. Like you making more than your job can ever pay you. You know, that's enough to exit the workforce after you consecutively do that, you know, for a period of time, you know, probably 6 months, a year, or longer. You know, okay, you know, you don't even got to tell anybody at your job. You just, you know, just put in your resignation and you know, say la vie. You know, um, you know, that's how that goes. I mean, you know, the thing is, these things are just not taught because, like I say, that's how they control you. They control you like that, you know. Um, you know, the whole country was ran, you know, by neighborhood businesses. I mean, neighborhood businesses, you know, basically built America. You know, mom and pop stores, you know, family businesses. You know, um, you don't have to be a rocket scientist. You know, like I said, people was taught in grammar school, high school, how to run a business. You know, um, or their parents was merchants, and they taught them how to, you know, how to run a business. You know, and it's like, you know, I mean, that's the whole thing, though. You know, I ain't gonna, you know, I don't have anything more to say, you know, but you know, I mean, you know, shoot, my son, you know, my daughters, I'm already trying to, uh, you know, teach them, you know, things about money and finance and stuff, and I'm trying to put some stuff in their head, um, you know, my son, yeah, I'm definitely, you know, definitely gonna show him, you know, very early on. what I know. And teach them, how to, just basic stuff about finance, and just put some stuff in his head, as far as, ideas, I mean, it just, you know, just hopefully he could, do some things that I didn't do at an early age. Like, one of my biggest regrets, I ain't gonna lie, when I played Little League, when the time that I was about 9 years old to the time I was 16. And I played outfield, third base. I pitched one game. Nobody ever hit a home run on me. That's the thing. That's what I was just gonna say. So I mean, I've been around. I played like third base, outfield, pitcher. Um, and it's like, yeah, I my whole little league career, I never hit a home run. I hit a triple. I hit plenty of doubles, definitely singles. I mean, I ain't never hit a home run. I hit the fence a whole bunch of times. It just never went over the fence. And I was taught to hit, but you know what? Like, I wasn't taught how to hit home runs. I was just taught to hit. I wasn't taught to hit home run. Like, see, like I watch baseball a little bit more because I bet on it. I bet on sports. So like I was watching um Shohei Ohtani and Mooney Kata. I forgot his last name. The White Sox slugger they got from Japan. Think it's Mooney Kata Ma- Makarama or something like that. I don't know. But they they know how to hit home runs because they practice hitting home runs. I saw them sharing swing techniques. I literally like they were I don't know, I think they were playing for the baseball classic. It was a world baseball um championship, like over, I think, like over the early, it was in the spring, late spring or early spring. And I think Venezuela won that championship. I think it was. But the thing is like the Japanese played in it, and they were both on the same team. And I saw them like, they were choking up the bat and like showing different forms and technique on how to hit the ball out the park. Because they both are very good at hitting home runs. I mean, Otani is a pitcher and he hits a lot of home runs. So like the same thing with the White Sox hitter. He's a home run hitter. He's like one of the best, home run hitters on the team. He's just a rookie. This is his first year. Um, so like the thing is they that's a skill to actually hit that ball, over the fence and hit it, really far. Like it's a skill to doing that. And I just wasn't taught that. Like, I mean, the coach is trying to teach you how to hit the ball. He's not trying to teach you how to hit no goddamn home run. He ain't got time to teach you how to hit no damn home runs. You gotta field the ball and hit the ball. It ain't no advanced home run swinging. Like, the good coaches, the best coaches would do that. See, like real good coaches, they observe, okay, where I can, you know, kind of make these players more advanced. So we can, and those are the coaches that make it to the Little League World Series and you know, the championships and all of that and all that, because like, yeah, I had went to like we won the championship in Dalton. We beat all of the other baseball teams. It was like, like probably 5 or 6 other teams. We beat all of them and won the championship. I was on a team with a bunch of white dudes that played high school baseball. So I wasn't, I just enjoyed I was just enjoying the being on the team. I'll just say but the thing is the whole thing is this, um I just wasn't, I wasn't taught how to hit no home run. I just never thought to think back then, being, make how do I, what techniques is it to hit a home run? Like back then, you had to, if you wanted to learn something, you had to go to the library and read a book. Like I just never thought, like, just to pick up a book on how to hit a home run. Like I just thought, okay, maybe I'll just hit it, whatever. Eventually I'll hit it. If I can hit the fence, I can hit it over. But I mean, I just never did my whole career. So it's like, yeah, my son, man, I just hope he could play baseball. I'm definitely gonna teach him how to hit home runs. It's just like little stuff like that, man. I just I mean, man, but anyway, man, I've been on here for quite a long time, and I just, I don't know, just wanted to kind of, I don't know, tell a little secret, and then also talk about, other things. But yeah, now you know. I mean, so but anyway, I'm gonna get up out of here. Hope you have a good evening, and you know, if you see this on the replay, like, share, subscribe. Yep.